Hello, and welcome back to the Coop Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah Fisher to talk all things transfer and news regarding everything Aston Villa. Yep, it's been a couple of weeks now since the end of the season. We've got plenty to catch up with, and we will be talking about all of that and more after this. Okay, so yes, it's been a couple of weeks, and we're back to talk about what's been pretty jam-packed sort of 3 weeks or so. Noah, there's been a lot going on at Villa Park. You're over there at the moment in Birmingham. First of all, how's your trip going, and are you enjoying the Birmingham sun that I'm seeing on the cricket?
Mate, the weather has been unbelievable. Obviously, Coop de Villa set me over as the transfer guru, I guess you could say. So, but having a good time, getting all the transfer news and seeing friends and family.
Awesome to see you having a great time. But let's get into the Villa because that's what we're here for. And like I said, plenty of big news, but nothing probably bigger than the signing of Youri Tielemans on a free transfer from Leicester. What were your initial thoughts, and how do you rate the signing and him as a player?
Well, absolutely love the signing. I still actually can't believe we got it over the line because a few bigger clubs, I guess you could say, were interested. I think Atletico Madrid might have been interested, and then Newcastle with the pool of Champions League football now are interested as well. I do like Youri Tielemans. I've always wanted Villa to have a midfielder like him, and I still can't believe that our midfield cost Aston Villa like £15 million total when you put it all together.
I know it is crazy to see, Kamara on a free, Ramsey through the academy, John McGinn like 3.5 million or 2.5 million, whatever it was. Yeah, it is incredible to see, and I think he's going to slot in there quite nicely. I do like the signing, and I think he will bring something a bit different to us. Maybe some more goals, maybe some more creativity. I do have a few question marks, and like if I was going to be nitpicky as to some of my concerns, I would say, first of all, who drops out for him would be my first question. Where is he actually going to play if he's in our best 11, which you would think he would be. Who has to sit on the benches? Because I don't think it's going to be Douglas Luiz. I don't think it's going to be Kamara. I don't think it's going to be McGinn. I hope it's not Ramsey. So it is a bit of an issue there. And the other thing is he's obviously coming off a very disappointing season. I think if he was a free agent a year ago or 2 years ago, he would have gone to a Champions League team because he was there was some real sort of rumors about Arsenal and Liverpool, I think, maybe 18 months ago or something like that. So, look, he's had a bad season, and I think, a lot of Leicester fans on, Twitter and stuff will say that he's sort of down tools a bit, knowing that he was running down his contract and, and they were quite disappointed in his season. What would you say to people with those concerns?
I don't know. I think football's a confidence game. I think we've all seen that with how Unai Emery's transformed the squad. And Leicester just didn't have a lot of confidence going around. So
I agree with you. I think that, Unai Emery is a smart coach. I've got full trust in him. And if he feels he can get the best out of him and he can work in his system, I'm down for it. I'm 100% behind the signing, and I think he's going to do great. I think he's a really good player. Amazing player. I just think there's a few little question marks, and time will tell on that. But it's huge, and a year or two ago we would never have been in the market for a guy like him. So it's fantastic. There's been a few other rumors as well that have been going around. Nico Williams was one. It turns out that he's probably staying now. He's not going to come. So that's a little bit disappointing because I think he's a very good player, very, quite young. He played. So there's been rumors of him. There's been there was Oxlade-Chamberlain was, talked about for a while. There was There was some other sort of players that have been around. I mean, there was Marco Asensio seemed to be done at one point. That was quite exciting. And then it looks now like he's going to PSG. So I don't know what happened with that one, but that was almost Fabrizio Romano. Here we go.
Yeah.
And I thought he would have really slotted in nicely on that right hand side, coming in on what is a wand of a left peg. And yeah, I think that's a bit of a shame that one didn't work out. But when it was sort of floated at first, I thought, ooh, that's going to be a tough one to get over the line. So I guess we can't be too disappointed that we missed out on him, really.
No, 100%. And obviously, as soon as a club like PSG come in, it's always going to be tough to battle with them. And as you said, I would have loved to have had him sign for us. I think he would have suited an Emery's system perfectly. Unfortunate not to be. Just move on, get the next player we need to get in.
That's it. But someone we have signed from Spain is Monchi from Seville, the sporting director. And he comes in with quite a reputation. I heard a few podcasts talking about this signing for Villa, and there's again a lot of excitement because he's got a great reputation. What he did with Seville to take them to the Europa League, under Emery numerous times, and they've also. He was also at Roma for a while, where he probably didn't have as great a record. There was some question marks there, but no, this is a huge signing and very exciting for Villa, I think, going forward. And that this means Christian Purslo's moved on. So, what were your thoughts about Purslow moving on and the acquisition of Monchi?
My thoughts on Purslow, I'd actually like to thank him, to be honest, because one, he bought Villa to Australia. That's probably what he's doing. But he was at the club for quite a while. And, I know people love him or hate him. I still think he did a pretty good job as CEO besides the Steven Gerrard appointment. And I think he would have to look back and say that wasn't his finest thing that he did. But I don't really think he put a foot wrong. Remember when the Super League was going on, he was very firm and was open talking to the media. When we sold Jack Grealish, for example, he made that video. That doesn't happen with other CEOs.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the new style that we're going with. So I believe we're going to be the only club that will not have a CEO. They're going with it's kind of like the American style of I guess ownership. I think that's what people in different positions. But yeah,
it's good to see that they're doing something proactive. And I mean, I don't know really what the CEO does that much. I mean, he's the face of the club, and I guess he answers the criticism and talks on behalf of the club and that sort of thing. I think Purslow did do a good job in that. I think he spoke well always. I think he got us out of a bad situation, as a club, and sort of moved us in the right direction. So yes, I would like to thank him as well. And you don't get them all right. The Gerrard thing didn't work out, but he got in Unai Emery. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how we work without a CEO. But what are your thoughts on Monchi? Anything to add there?
Well, I can't say I know too much about him, to be honest with you. I can't say how good he's going to be. It's the first I've really heard of him.
Yeah.
But obviously you read articles and you listen to other podcasts, and everyone seems really positive about it. So I'm just hoping that it's his right man for the right job. I think Unai Emery really wanted him. He's worked with him before. So again, you back in Unai Emery, and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. I think his main skills were the scouting, the ability to find these gems in the transfer market. Seville were working on a budget that was nowhere near the likes of Barca and Real Madrid, and they was always in and around the top four and a really good cup team. So I think that's sort of where we are. We're a team that's probably not going to be up the top in the next 5-10 years, but in the Premier League, but we can definitely, attack these sort of cup competitions and hopefully, finish in the European places and, give ourselves the best chance of picking up some silverware, which with Emery at the helm, why not? So I think it's a smart move in terms of, where we are, where he is in his career. And it's a big coup for the club, I think. So, and also, of course, the fixtures were released. That's very exciting for a lot of people. I know that some other people are just like, oh, you play everyone twice, home and away. It doesn't really matter. But I do think it does matter, especially if you can get away to a flying start. That can really change your season. Of course, last season we had the worst possible start, losing away at Bournemouth, and we went on a terrible run at the start of the year because of that. So Newcastle away, it's a tough game first up, but it's going to be a good test. I'm looking forward to it.
Mate, the atmosphere at St James's Park is going to be electric. Them obviously getting Champions League, us getting back into Europe. Like the two big giants of English football are kind of back up to the top at the moment. So the atmosphere there's going to be electric. I know a lot of Villa fans already booked their hotels for Newcastle. Are going to take the weekend and have a good trip, which is very exciting for them. But I tell you what, the three certainties in an Aston Villa fixture release or certainty is Everton at home in August, just about.
Yeah.
3 out of the 4 seasons, we've had Everton at home in August.
And away first game of the season as well.
Wow.
If you can go to Newcastle and get something, why not? We don't have a great record there, of course. We often get done up at St James's Park like we did last year under poor Aaron Danks when he was caretaker. But look, they're not unbeatable, and we're going to make some signings. We're going to have a real splash, I think, this summer, and hopefully all those players can be bought quickly, can be embedded into the training and into the style, and we can get them on the park for that first game and really, go up there to the northeast and have a real crack. And I'm really looking forward to it. Of course, we've got the Europa League playoff early in August too, so that's going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to the Villa Park match. If we got, obviously you don't want to in the playoff a difficult draw, but if we got someone of a reasonable size, there are some big teams in the Europa Conference, even though it gets a lot of flack from your big six kind of glory, bandwagon fans, but it's got some interesting teams. We're going to have some real there's going to be a few games where we're all looking at our maps and our, Wikipedia and like, who is this? Like, where are we going? But there's going to be some big teams too. And I think under lights at Villa Park, a European night, I can't wait to see that.
Oh, this is going to be absolutely crazy. And I tell you what, if those big six don't talk crap about the Conference League, I guarantee you Chelsea would take it. If they were in the Conference League right now, they would take it because they had a shocking season and they love European football, that club. So it's the competition itself is strong. Like Juventus are in the Conference League this year. I know they had points deductions and stuff, but they're going to be they're going to go a long way in the competition. So we're going to have to go through them eventually.
Well, fingers crossed they could get rid of them from the competition because of these allegations. They still have a UEFA sort of judgment that's coming. So there could be a chance they get banned from European football altogether. And, I would take it just for the fact that it gives us a better chance of winning the competition, but it'll be easy. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I just want this sort of summer to sort of go, this English summer. And, we've got a few things to look forward to, like the Women's World Cup and other things here. But really, Villa, after the season they had last season and going into next season, a full preseason with Unai Emery, I'm really excited and can't wait to get stuck in. Can't wait to see some more signings. What else did we have? So we spoke a little bit earlier about a interview that was going on the rounds for a while with Tim Sherwood and Simon Jordan. I'm sure most of you out there have seen it, and it was very interesting. I thought the fact that he basically said to Randy Lerner back in, I guess, 2015, 2016 season that our squad was championship level, and if in January if we didn't bolster it, we were going down. And Randy Lerner seemed to I don't know in Tim Sherwood's version of the story didn't really care.
Yeah, it got to that stage, I think, for Randy Lerner. He didn't want to invest any more money, even though he actually did for Tim Sherwood, but he didn't really care. I think he just wanted to sell the club. And unfortunately, Tim Sherwood was a manager that was in charge at the time because whoever was in charge went to cop it. You know, he was really, since Martin O'Neill, really, he just tightened the reins on it and didn't want to spend any money. And yeah, but I appreciate how honest Tim Sherwood was because I actually liked him as a manager. And I think he probably, it's hard to say, I reckon he had a good chance to keep us up if
Yeah,
you get a little bit more time. I know there were a few results that weren't looking great, but I mean, you get Remy Gard or Tim Sherwood, you take Tim Sherwood every day of the week when you look back on it.
absolutely.
But obviously, looking back in time, you can change a lot of things. But unfortunately for Tim, it's just right play, a right person, but wrong time, I reckon.
Yeah, I think that I like him as a person. I think, I see him, we get him on the punditry over here in Australia on the world feed quite a bit. And there's sometimes I don't think he's the brightest pundit out there, and I don't think he's the best manager out there. But I think what I did like about him is he speaks quite well. He got the club. He loved the club. He always talks about how big the club is and how great the fans were. Even after he got sacked, like he still says this whenever it's brought up, and you can really tell that he even now has a soft spot for us and wants us to do well. So from that point of view, I'm glad that we actually got his side of the story because he got us to the cup final, kept us up, and going into that summer, and there was, quite a few of us that were looking forward to the season, and it couldn't have been a worse season. Obviously, getting relegated and Sherwood was sacked, around Christmas time. But yeah, no, it was good to see him talk. And I mean, well, there's one thing I would say, and that would be like, why did you sign these players if you think we're so bad, we've got a championship squad?
But I don't think they were his players.
Right. Is that what he was suggesting?
That's what I'm getting from it anyway.
Well, I
Like,
mean, maybe some of them like the foreign players, like the Jordan Ayus and these kind of guys. But I mean, Micah Richards, he brings
I
him
reckon that was
in.
a team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he brings him in. He moves him to centre back from right back, gives him the captaincy, which I always thought was just a terrible decision from the start. Because one, it's kind of like saying, okay, you've made your career as a right back, but because we're Villa and we're not Man City, you can play wherever you want.
yeah.
It's sort of like and he was terrible at centre back. He's obviously, I think, a better right back, and then giving him the captaincy when he's just walked in the door again, when there was sort of other options out there, it just seemed a bit like
Who the thing is, right? I don't know who you give the captaincy to out of who we had left.
possibly.
I just don't know who you give it to if you don't give it to Michael Richards.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah. Remember Ron Vlar came in the door and was given the captain's armband.
fair point. Fair point. Well, I just think. I mean, I like Michael Richards. He's funny on TV and stuff. But yeah, I thought that was just a strange one at the time. But I thought that was a good interview, and it's good to see Tim open up and talk about the Villa. So that was great. I mean, another kind of story that's not really Villa related, but something that came up and I wanted to just touch on briefly is obviously Man City won the treble since we've last been on, and former player Jack Grealish was enjoying himself afterwards, and there was a lot of this sort of, can you be happy for Jack Grealish on Twitter, and I think there's this sort of like I think a lot of people were missing the point in that you don't have to want City to win, but you can still, if they do win, you can still say, yeah, well, I'm glad for Jack because he's one of our former players. But if you still hate him for leaving, that's fine too. Like that, this kind of rhetoric that was out there during that time, like if you're supporting Jack Grealish, you are not a fan, or if you want City to beat Inter, you're not a fan. Like, everyone's got their own opinions. Like it's I think that kind of talk is silly. And, if you cracked a bit of a smile at him, dancing on the top of the bus and that sort of thing, then that doesn't make you less of a Villa fan. And also, if you wanted City to win instead of Inter, then that's fine too. I mean, personally, I didn't want City to win because they had 0 Champions Leagues, we had 1, and now we're on 1 each. So, from my point of view, I didn't want City to win, but when they did, I had to have a little giggle at Jack and some of his antics, still in his kit 2 days later and all that. I mean, he's a likable guy, and I still have no bad feelings towards him. I still like him. What were your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I got no problem with Jack Grealish, to be honest. He still says he's a Villa fan, I know you would love him to come back one day, Scott. I know you have an absolute man crush on the bloke.
I do. I think now that he's won a treble, forget it. You've done it. You've completed football. Come on.
But what I think about though, right? Is he celebrating like this at Man City? Imagine if he'd won it at Villa.
Absolutely, he'd still be drunk.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But one thing that is I find a bit weird is a lot of fans are getting angry at Kevin Grealish, his dad, for wearing a
the
Man City top.
Yeah,
mate, it's his son.
Yeah,
it's his son.
Nah, yeah, Pete. I mean, what's he going to do? Not wear, not, he can support his son. His son plays for Man City now. That's fine.
I reckon Kevin's still a Villa fan anyway. I don't think it really matters, to be honest. You follow your son wherever he goes, and he's obviously happy for him. So who gives a crap, and just move on. I know we've kind of moved on from Jack now. Look at the team we've got. We're no longer a one-man band, and we've actually got a proper squad that we can use.
That's it, and I'm excited for what's to come. Other things briefly. The women's team, Hannah Hampton left, ran a contract down and is going to Arsenal, I think. That was a little bit disappointing. I saw some people kind of angry with her about that. But we got this new goalkeeper from the Dutch number 1. I forgot her name, but but she looks pretty good. So hopefully she can hit the ground running, because I think Hannah Hampton in the games I watched was a huge part of the team, not just with her saves, but with how good she was on the ball. I think that's probably the number 1 reason she's being, taken by, a top 4 club. But it's a shame she didn't, at least, I don't know, give us some transfer fee, or I don't know. But anything else you want to touch on? What are your plans for today? You got anything special planned? I know you're a little bit hungover after Owen's party last night.
Yeah, just a little bit. I want to get down to Villa Park at some stage. I haven't been there yet, so I'd probably like to get down to Villa Park. Give another look before they smash down the North Stand very soon.
Yes, of course. I did see some pictures of some seats have been removed already. So yeah, it's all go at Villa Park, and yeah, it's all go for us too. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. And let us know what players you want signed. What do you think of the Tielemans signing? What do you think of Monchi? Anything you want to speak, please leave a comment, because that really helps the algorithm. Ask us a question. We'll have more time to talk about things like that on the off season. So any questions you've got for us about being Villa fans in Australia and our experience, please leave them in the comment section. Please hit that bell for that will let you know anytime we drop a video over this off season. And yeah, it's really exciting. I'm expecting some big signings coming, so stay tuned. Noah, great to see you again. Enjoy the rest of your holiday, mate. And up the Villa. See you next time.